أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك فقنا عذاب النار ربنا إنك من تدخل النار فقد أخزيته وما للظالمين من أنصار ربنا إننا سمعنا مناديا ينادي للإيمان أن آمنوا بربكم فآمنا ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار ربنا وآتنا ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد فاستجاب لهم ربهم أني لا أضيع عمل عامل منكم من ذكر أو أنثى بعضكم من بعض فالذين هاجروا وأخرجوا من ديارهم وأوذوا في سبيلي وقاتلوا وقتلوا لأكفرن عنهم سيئاتهم ولأدخلنهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ثوابا من عند الله والله عنده حسن الثواب لا يغرنك تقلب الذين كفروا في البلاد متاع قليل ثم مأواهم جهنم وبئس المهاد لكن الذين اتقوا ربهم لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها نزلا من عند الله وما عند الله خير للأبرار وإن من أهل الكتاب لمن يؤمن بالله وما أنزل إليكم وما أنزل إليهم خاشعين لله لا يشترون بآيات الله ثمنا قليلا أولئك لهم أجرهم عند ربهم إن الله سريع الحساب يا أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا وصابروا ورابطوا واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Welcome back, dear listeners, to another episode with Connect to the Quran. And we just heard this beautiful recitation from Al Imran, and it's at the end of Al Imran. And I was very excited to do it because it's a beautiful passage. I love this passage. It sort of links also with the end passage of Surah Baqarah. Lillahi ma fi samawati wa ma fil ard. And there we also went into the ahadith of when it came down. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam actually went to the Miraj to get it. And here, Al Imran, at the tail end of Al Imran from ayahs 190, which is what we listened to from 190 to 200, is the end passage. And this is also another beautiful passage. And there's a beautiful ahadith about this from Aisha radiallahu anha. And it's after the demise of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Sahaba came to her and they just wanted to say, please share with us something. We are missing out, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Well, share something with us. And then she shared the story about how he was with her, and then he asked her permission, may I go and connect with my Rabb? And he went into Salah, and this is what he was reading, this passage. And he read it, and he read it, and he was tears till there was a puddle of water around him. And this was at night, and lots of things come out from the ahadith. And one was that the courtesy of asking her before he left her, can I go and be with my Rabb? And then people would say, well, why are you crying, Ya Rasulullah? And he said, you've been, you're the best of creation, you've been forgiven. So he would say that, well, then shouldn't I be in shukr? Shouldn't be a person of thanksgiving? So these ayahs technically, one of the first ways which gives me very solace, they are beautiful ayahs. They are beautiful ayahs, and it starts with A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, and I am going to want to read it again because it is so beautiful. And it says, Inna fi khalqi samawati wal ard wa ikhtilafil layli wan nahar la ayatin li ulil albab. So hold in the creation of the heavens and the earth, and in the alternation of the night and day, there is indeed signs for people of understanding. So on this ayah, I'd just like to take up two things. One, the concept of ayah. What is an ayah? It's a sign. It means a revelation that's coming down. It also means the signs that we see around us in the dunya, all of it in the galaxies. Those are all signs. And that's what the ayah means. And also signs are also what's inside our hearts, what's inside us. So everything is a sign which should be reminding you of Allah. And then the beautiful thing we saw that with Surah Baqarah and Al Imran, they go as a pair. In Surah Al Imran, Surah Baqarah, we were talking more about the Bani Israel and how their iman was, they were messing up on it. Here we were talking about, we were showcasing the Nasara of how they messed up on basic Tawheed. So these ayahs are coming back to reminding you on basic Tawheed. We've talked about Tawheed, Risala, and Akhirah as the things. So in this very first, it's the end ayahs, but at ayah 199, there are signs for those who are ulul albab. That's another beautiful phrase. It comes from lub, which is also the corn, but it means people of sound understanding, of meticulous, thinking it through deeper. So the whole point of this passage is to reiterate the idea of we need to connect with the Quran at a heart level. We need to connect it not just to derive our fiqh, our sharia, or many other things, which are all wonderful things and which are all there to enhance our living, but we need to have a deep, deep connection with our heart with it. And this is what the ulul albab, and there is the ahadith, not the ahadith, there are so many mufassir, so many tafsirs on these things, on these ayahs, which are absolutely beautiful. And every time I go back as I was studying it, I say, oh, but this is what I want to share, and this is what I want to share. But at the end of the day, you need to open the Quran, you need to open the Musaf and just ponder on it. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also said, on the ones who read this passage, and I've just stopped on the very first one, is that because it says for ulul albab, because it's on those who ponder. And I'll go to the next ayah, which goes and it says, "Allazina yazkuruna Allah qiyaman wa qu'udan wa ala junubihim wa yatafakkaruna fi khalqis samawati wal ard wa ikhtilafil layli wan nahar la ayatin li ulil albab." And those who celebrate the praises of Allah, standing, sitting, lying down on their side, and contemplate on the wonders of the creation of the heavens and the earth. And they say, Ya Allah, you have not created any of this in vain. And subhanallah to you, and please save us from the hellfire. So essentially, after reading these two long surahs, this is what Allah is telling us. You should have come to this point where you recognize that what we want is about Yawm al-Akhirah is safety from the hellfire, and that, Ya Allah, you have not created any of this in vain. So the idea of, when you wonder about the justice of the dunya, no, there is that Yawm al-Akhirah, and you will take, and nothing is in vain. When a leaf doesn't drop, doesn't fall without Allah not knowing it. So why do we worry about Allah doesn't know my issues, Allah doesn't know my problem, and so on? So it's like the solace you get in knowing nothing is in vain, and it's all under Allah's hands, and it's all under His control, and so He will take care of us on that. So with these two, then in ayah 192 and 193, the beautiful Rabbanas, with Rabbana innaka man tudkhilin nar faqad akhzaytuhu ma lizalimina min ansar. And Ya Allah, if you, anyone who you admit in hellfire, truly you have covered them with shame, and never will the wrongdoers go find any helper. So that's also to give us solace. A, pray I'm not one of those people, and B, and those who have wronged me or who have oppressed the dunya, and there is so much oppression going on in the world, they will not be gone unpunished. And that also gives us a solace, because you do want to see fairness. You do want to, that's a basic fitrah of humanity, of insan, and whether Muslim or not, that you want to see justice. You have a concept of fairness. And the next ayah, which goes, that says, Rabbana innama samena munadiyan yunadi lil iman an aminu bi rabbana fa'amanna rabbana faghfir lana zunubana wa kafir anna sayyi'atina wa tawaffana ma'al abrar. And Allah forgive me for reading it not with the correct pronunciation and all, but it says, and Ya Rab, we have heard the caller calling one us to faith, to believe in you, and we have believed. So we are claiming our shahada that we have believed. And Ya Allah, forgive us for our sins, blot out for us our iniquities, and take us to yourself in the company of the righteous. So these are all beautiful du'as where we should be, that whenever we do, the concept of istighfar, the concept of recognizing our wrong, that we should be constantly aware of it and never be complacent. And all these du'as and all these rabbanas are the total antithesis and the antidote for kibr and for pride and arrogance. And whether we first do it with lip service without even knowing, inshallah, it will seep into us. And that's why the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it's no point those who read these ayahs and they don't ponder on them and they don't dwell on them. And then the next ayah is 94, is Rabbana atina ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد. Oh Allah, grant us what you promised unto us through your messengers, and save us from the shame on the day of judgment, for you never break your promise. So, and this asking us to be kept safe, because we do worry that let me not fall short. So this is why this idea, when you talk about, okay, I'll just do the basic, I'll just do the minimum, and inshallah that's it. No, just as at university, at every other level, you want to excel just in order to make sure you made the grade, just to make sure you got in your interview you passed. You always do double and triple to ensure that you have gone through the gate in a good way. So that's what we are praying for. And these are beautiful Rabbanas. And also, you need to look at these Rabbanas to those Rabbanas at the very beginning of the surah. And in fact, in ayah 7 of Al Imran, I don't have it by heart, but it also talks about Ulul Albab, that the people who ponder and think. So if you can go into the concepts of the Quran, try and see what Ulul Albab means, the depth of it, it means the cream of the crop, the best of the best. So those are the kind of things we need to be looking at. So this was 94. And then, inshallah, so I'll just wait on it there. And then I'm going to read to you also about a poem which kind of epitomizes what this is about. And it's about your thinking. It's getting at how you need to be thinking. So here is on these ayahs, there's a poem which goes, learn to think Learn to think out of the box. Get rid of mental blocks. There's a rhyme and reason in every shift of season. In chaos, there's purpose, signs in the universe and within ourselves, perfection of the ever present one, of the ever Hayy and of the Hayy and of the Qayyum. So, no wavering in accepting destiny decree while striving, if expelled, killed, or harmed. Do to not be sucked in the glitter and pomp of the deen. Ultimately, it all lands in the bin. And look out with an awed attitude, subhanallah, in full gratitude. For iman in heart, mind, and soul, is there any flaw to see? Look inside, flee from all negativity. There's choice and free will to not harbor ill will, the choice not to sell iman. The ulul albab, the cream of the crop, think out of the box. Beyond the doors locked, obstacles and roadblocks, prime real estate awaits. True falah is to be found when the heart is truly sound, constant, firm, and content. So this, inshallah, is just sort of summarizing or encapsulating a little bit of what these ayahs are about. But we'll go for a short break and then we'll be back shortly, inshallah, to continue with the ayahs 195 onwards. So till then, assalamu alaikum, and hang in there, renew your intention, renew your wudu if possible, and come back with your musaf, open your Quran and follow through with it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا وصابروا ورابطوا واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. You're back with Najma at Connect with the Quran, and we're looking at Al Imran, and we just listened to the recitation of the last ayah of Al Imran, which is beautiful. But I'm going to pick up from ayah 195, where I'm just going to read the English for you, and it starts with وَسَجَابَ لَهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ, and it says, and their Lord accepts of them and answered them. And he said, never will I suffer to be lost the work of any of you. And inni la udiyu amala amilan minkum man dhakarin aw untha. And this is beautiful. It says, and never will I suffer to be lost the work of any of you, be he male and female. So how beautiful that is, of how much solace it gives us, that in amal, in taqwa, we are right there. Whatever I do, I'll be merited. It's not that because I don't go to the masjid for my salah, I get less reward. They get 20 times, 50 times, whatever it be. No, Allah knows deep down what we do. So that's a one take-home message from there. And I'm just going fast because it's just so full of so much beautiful stuff that you just want to go on and on. So, and you are members, one of the others, and the unsa, ba'duhum min ba'd. You are one from the other. You keep continuing. This deep meaning on that. It can be over generations that we are, or even me to my spouse and my children, and they to me, how we are. It relates at multiple levels, that term, ba'duhum ba'd. وَالَّذِينَ هَاجَرُوا وَأُخْرِجُوا مِنْ دِيَارِهِمْ وَأُوذُوا فِي سَبِيلِهِ وَقَاتَلُوا وَقُتِلُوا لَا أُكَفِّرَنَّ عَنْهُمْ سَيِّئَاتِهِمْ وَلَا أُدْخِلَنَّهُمْ جَنَّاتٌ تَجْرِي مِنْ تَحْتِهَا الْأَنْهَارُ ثَوَابٌ مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ عِنْدَهُ حُسْنُ الثَّوَابِ. And those who have left their homes and who have been driven out of their homes and who have suffered harm in my cause, or fought to, or have been slain, verily I will blot out from them their iniquities, that is our shortcomings, our sins, and admit them into the gardens where rivers flow. A reward from the presence of Allah, from Allah directly, mean indillah, from Him, and from His reward, presence is the best of reward. So just even without, I don't have to go and explain anything, but it's so rich in meaning. The indallah is so significant. It's straight from Allah that it's coming. And the best of reward is from Allah indeed. So, when we think I didn't get the prize at school, we were doing once about how rewarding are the prize giving at the end of the schools. And sometimes it is. It may be for the one who gets all the awards, and invariably that happens, and the other one who doesn't. So then they give him a reward for just being constantly coming to school, for diligence, for that. But that's just one reward as against the massive others. And even then, if your child goes through that despondency of that time, tell them, ultimately it's what Allah thinks of you, it counts. And I remember when I was very young and we used to read all these lovely books, there was a lovely little magazine that used to come out at Noor, in which there was about a girl and about her, she wanted to pass and she had all these dreams, and instead she didn't pass her exam and she was totally devastated. So this is when we were young, but look how messages stay with you when you're young. And already then, maybe I understood it, maybe I didn't, but now it comes back to me that how in the story, the mother then tells the child, fine, you didn't make the grade in the dunya, but don't worry. You need to worry about making the grade with Allah. You need to worry about getting into Jannah. And that is a beautiful solace. Let not the stuttering about in the dunya of the disbelievers deceive you. So that's again the other thing that, when we do get despondent, we do see other people, we have been striving, but somebody else got the house we were wanting to put a bid in for, or something else. And they're also, and so don't let the stuttering of the disbelievers upset you. Don't let it upset you one little bit. And these are also because Allah's already said that He's seeing what you've done, your effort that you've put up. And whether it's being expelled from your home, whether you've done hijrah, whether you've been killed or slain. And then you can be thinking, the beauty of the ayahs is covers my situation, and at the same time it's covering the Uyghur situation, the Rohingya situation, of how people stick to their iman and they don't sell their iman. And look at the next ayah, then ayah 197, which goes mata'ul qalilan thumma ma'ahum jahannama wa bisal masir. And how little is it for their enjoyment. Their ultimate abode is hell. So take solace from that. So the fact that you are suffering, don't worry. There is an akhirah. That's why the Tawheed, Risala, and akhirah always gives you so much solace. So that's what the Quran is full of. And it is giving us this holistic worldview of where our thinking should be, where it should be. As against this, what we have is when we get hooked into this dunya and hooked about wanting to compare ourselves with what the dunya says, like, we worry about, oh, why is it that Muslims don't have Nobel Peace Prizes? Well, it doesn't matter whether we get Nobel Peace. Yes, you do. This is where people stay hooked on about the dunya, about sorting out the dunya. But no, Muslims have a higher aim. Theirs is for the akhirah. Yes, that we mess up in the dunya is a separate issue collectively, that we are not in a good position. But ultimately, we need to see maybe through our suffering and our pain, that's where our ajr lies, that's where we're getting our brownie points. So that's what we need to be looking at. So anyway, in ayah 198, لكن الذين اتقوا ربهم لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها نزل من عند الله. Again, نزل من عند الله وما عند الله خير للأبرار. And on the other hand, for those who fear their Rabb, who have taqwa, are gardens. And look how taqwa keeps surfacing again and again. And then go and look at what the concept of taqwa actually means, of what it is in depth. It's not just fear, it means much more that of the awareness. But you can go and have a look at that again. So with which rivers flow beneath them, and therein there will dwell a gift from the presence of Allah, from the very presence of Allah, and that which is in the presence of Allah is the best for the righteous. We just had the best gift is from in an ayah previous to this, in ayah 195, and now in 98 it's reiterating the same thing. And this, look at 99, how beautiful this is. وَإِنَّ مِنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ لَمَنْ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكُمْ وَمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْهِمْ خَاشِعِينَ لِلَّهِ لَا يَشْتَرُونَ بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ ثَمَنًا قَلِيلًا أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ أَجْرُهُمْ عِندَ رَبِّهِمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ سَرِيعُ الْحِسَابِ. And there are certainly among the people of the book those who believe in Allah, in the revelation to you and in the revelation to them, and bowing down in humility to Allah, in the khashiyah of Allah, and then they will not sell the signs of Allah for a miserable gain. And for them is a reward with their Rabb, and Allah is swift to account. So again, go and look at tafsirs. They're beautiful details of this. What does it mean to those who, they get double brownie points, people who come to Deen, that they believe in all the good that was given to them, and now they have come to Islam and come to accept it truly, and they're not going to sell the price like we did in the whole of Surah Baqarah about the Bani Israel and about the Rabi and how they got onto Isa alayhi salam's case because he was reprimanding them and so on. So these are the beautiful things I don't even have to go into, and it's not about tafsir, it's about connecting with it. If these ayahs can resonate, can give you this softness of your heart, of how beautiful Allah's kalam is, of how beautiful the divine speech is when He talks to us. So, but the key for me in this ayah is about not selling our faith, our deen, for miserable gains, because I need to get a job. So I'm going to now leave some of my habits, and I'm going to act as if it's okay for me to eat pork, it's okay for me to be drinking, whatever it be. Those are extreme cases, but let me see, what am I willing to forego of my deen? Never mind, if I don't get my Jummah, at least I'll get it in my cubicle, I'll be able to say it there. No, have a look at what it's doing. Where am I selling my deen? So that's just again, things to look for. And my love for these ayahs, love for the Quran, is just to want to connect, and whoever I can inspire and want the desire to want to look at themselves and ponder and deep. And it's not just for the rote reading of getting sawab, of sending sawab to my departed parents, my grandparents, the whole works up to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have the salawat to say, of to read, and every time we send salawat to our Rasul, we also get benefit. So yes, there is benefit at that level, but surely, as we are excelling in everything else, whether it be at work, I want the best shoes, I want the best this, and this is the latest gadget, so I need to do it here too. And that's why ponder. Please just want to connect with the Quran at a deeper level, and inshallah it will turn our lives around. And the last ayah, which is so beautiful also, is Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, and then it's, oh you who believe. What do? You have to do was amanu, wasabiru, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sabiru, wasabiru, warabitu, wattaqullah, la'allakum tuflihun. And this last passage, no, not this one, the very first one, there is a parallel in ayah Surah Baqarah of 164, which you can check. It's very similar to ayah 190 of this passage. And here, so what are the things we are told to do? Preserve in patience and constancy, and rush for being vie in such perseverance, and strengthen each other. So you not only do sabr, but you support each other in the sabr. So if somebody tells you a sob story, help them see the brighter side of it. Help them have a good vision of it rather than be negative about it. And then the last one, warabitu. Rabitu is another term that comes up also in Surah Kaf, when the lads were strengthened, their hearts were strengthened by Allah, and when they had to go and be in the cave to escape the misery that their rulers were going to put on them. So that again, just go and double check. Do it for yourself. I'm just throwing out these little itsy bitsies, wishing that the gems will unfold for you. And they are so beautiful. In fact, nothing I can say can do justice to what the beauty of these ayahs are, but I just wanted to bring it to the fore. And so it is, what is it? It's persevere in patience and constancy, vie in perseverance, strengthen each other with it, and wattaqullah, and fear Allah, la'allakum tuflihun. This is a beautiful way where this surah ends. In end of Surah Baqarah, we're asking, oh Allah, and help us and save us from the kuffar, and keep us safe here. And this is what it's saying, that just strengthen us. And if we want falah, this is what we'll get. So inshallah, I'm just encouraging you, please open the Musaf, read this at night, and ask Allah the intentions of what counts. That, Ya Allah, you unfold the beauty. Let me see the beauty of your kalam. And that's where I'd like to leave it. And may Allah forgive me for anything I've said wrong, and Allah cover me, and may there be some goodness in this time that we've shared together. So with this, wa akhiru dawahum anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Salatu wassalam ala Rasul. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.